Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, my dear brothers and sisters in Islam. After thanking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, today we'd like to talk about what can be said as the cause of evil in this life, in hereafter. Sometimes we see so many evils in our lives, and I'm sure that there are evils in the next life. But one may ask himself or herself, what is the cause? What is the reason of all these evils that exist in this life and the next? So there is a saying from one of our great scholars known as Ibn al-Qayyim rahimahullah. He said, هل في الدنيا والآخرة شر إلا وسببه الذنوب والمعاصي. And he said, take a moment to think and reflect and ponder and gather all the evil that you can possibly do, and try to see if you can find any other reason or any other cause for those evils, if it's not one thing, which is ad-dhunub, sin. The sin is the root cause of all the evil that exists and that are to come till the day of judgment. And he said, فَمَا الَّذِي أَخْرَجَ الْأَبَوَيْنِ مِنَ الْجَنَّةِ. Think about it. What was the reason which expelled our father Adam alayhi salam and our mother Hawa from the Jannah, the house of blessing, the house of peace and harmony, into this world, the house of sorrow, sadness and calamity? Of course, that was due to sinning. And he went on, he said, وَمَا الَّذِي أَخْرَجَ إِبْلِيسَ مِنْ مَلَكُوتِ السَّمَاءِ إِلَى الْأَرْضِ وَبُدِّلَ بِالْقُرْبِ بُعْدًا وَبِالرَّحْمَةِ لَعْنًا وَبِالْجَنَّةِ نَارًا. He said, think about it. What expelled Iblis from the kingdom of the heaven? And he was so near to Allah, and he ended up being the farthest ever one can be to Allah. And he was showered with the mercy, and he ended up being cursed. And he was enjoying the paradise, and he ended up being in hell. What was the reason? Again, it was Adam, sin. And he went on and he said, وَمَا الَّذِي أَغْرَقَ أَهْلَ الْأَرْضِ جَمِيعًا. And what happened to drown the entire inhabitants of the earth and causing the water to reach the level of the mountaintop? Talking about the people of Nuh alayhi salam. What was the reason? It was nothing more than, again, sin. And he went on and said, what caused the home of the people of Lut to be raised up, Prophet Lut? What caused their homes to be raised up so up high and flipped it upside down? In the heaven showered upon them the stones, a punishment that was unprecedented in human history. What was the reason that led to that? Again, it was sin. And what was the reason that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala happened to send the wind to destroy the people of Ad and Thamud? Once again, it was sin. And we can come down to our own times. What was the reason that brought the entire inhabitants of the whole world in 2019 to our knees and paralyzed the humanity for good 3 to 6 months, when we thought that we happened to conquer the world, when we thought that the technology has reached its peak, the medicine, don't talk about it. But despite of all that, we were locked down for good 6 months. What's the reason? Once again, it's a sin. So in short, there is no evil in this life and even in the next to come which is not caused by sin. So we can say in short, the sin is the root cause of all the evil that happened to exist in the past, that is existing now, and that is to come. Leave people alone. Check yourself. Check your life. Allah said, وَمَا أَصَابَكُم مِّن مُّصِيبَةٍ فَبِمَا كَسَبَتْ أَيْدِيكُم. Whatever may happen to you in the past and will happen to you or is happening to you now and the next, that you don't like it, you don't appreciate it, you wish it didn't happen, if you think about it, if you ponder, and if you check your life, you will find that there is linked to sinning. Now the question will come, what is the sin itself? What is the origin of sin? Now the sin, they will say, huwa mukhalafatu amrillah. The sin is going against the commands of the Creator. It is either imma fi'lu mahdurin or tarki ma'murin. Sin is either neglecting a command of Almighty Allah or violating a prohibition of Almighty Allah. So the sin cannot go out of these two. Either you neglect a command or you violate a prohibition. And these are the two things whereby Allah happened to test it. The father of humanity, Adam alayhi salam, and also the father of jinkind, Iblis. And he commanded Iblis to do something, he neglected it. And he told Adam not to do something, he violated. So I will ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for you and myself. We will say iyadan billahi min mukhalafati amrihi wa irtikabi nahyihi. May Allah save and protect you and I from neglecting His order or prohibiting His prohibition or violating His prohibition. Inshallah, in our next setting or sitting, we'll talk about the sins in detail, because sin can be categorized into different categories, and can it all be forgiven, or there are some sin which will not be forgiven. We'll talk about that in our next sitting, inshallah. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.